Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Citigroup and our global shipping team, very pleased to welcome you today to the 16th Annual Capital Link International Shipping Conference. Packed agenda, as usual, thanks to Nicolas and Eleni and the team. We have a fantastic 2 days planned that I know Nicolas will talk about at the end. We at Citi are very pleased to continue our partnership of this event with Capital Link. In parallel to all of the panels and all of the speakers and all of the content that you'll hear today, we have approximately 30 companies signed up. And in parallel to all of that will be one-on-one investor meetings between the company and institutional investors. So 3 months into 2022, there's a lot to talk about today. 2021 saw a turnaround in terms of most of the public shipping equities, which were of course supported by the underlying segment dynamics, but also were focused on what was happening in the broader capital markets. I'll touch first on the broader capital markets. 2021 was a tremendously active year. We saw record-breaking year for US equity issuance, driven mostly by growth sectors, but we saw it across the board. The overall markets, the S&P 500 rallied up 27% versus 2020, where the broad markets were up 16%. Growth sectors dominated issuances. SPACs represented over half of US IPOs. Moving on to the debt side, 2021 was the strongest year for leveraged credit of all time. This was, of course, supported by record low treasury yields, an accommodative Federal Reserve, and supporting fiscal policy. And in investment grade bond markets, it was the second largest year on record. Green, social, and sustainable capital markets continued to expand. We've seen much of that in shipping as well. So over the course of 2021, we saw several shipping sectors significantly exceed the overall markets in terms of performance, specifically containers and dry bulk. Liners index was up over 150% last year. The lessors were up over 50%. Dry bulk stocks were up 135%. In the face of all of this last year, we saw quite a few companies exit the public arena, supported by infrastructure fund capital, facilitating the privatization, notably amongst many of the names in the LNG sector. Growth in private capital availability is a continued trend that I'm sure we'll touch on today. So where are we now? We sit here at the end of the first quarter. 2022 started out the year with a big pullback in the markets. First in January, we saw the overall markets down 10 to 15%, but it was the growth-oriented sectors that were down more than double this amount. The change in rate environment was part of this, driving a re-rating. This, of course, has been followed by corporate earnings being released, Russia, Ukraine, tensions creating volatility. And so in the face of this, the issuance backdrop for 2022 has been quite softer. So let's look at where things stand today, year to date, as we end the first quarter. The S&P is down around 6%, and every sector within the S&P is down, with the exception of energy, which is up 40%, and with the exception of many shipping stocks. Shipping stocks have well exceeded the overall market performance. You've got the BDI up 23%, dry bulk stocks up 20 to 40%, depending on the name. You've got continued strong performance with the container names, and you've got tanker stocks up anywhere from 5 to 30%. So where does this leave all of us in terms of the maritime industry? At Citi, we're focused on 3 key topics for 2022. The first is growth. 2 big themes of investment continue to be energy transition and technology. Our view is that new build ordering has been and will continue to be tempered. We also believe that continued consolidation will occur across many of the segments, and there's lots of reasons for that in terms of the benefits of scale and some of these larger platforms being able to access capital more efficiently and run their businesses more efficiently. Second topic, financial policy. As we look at balance sheets, overall net debt has come down across many of the segments, whether that's in sectors making a lot of profits or whether that is with companies that have been very prudent through more difficult times through asset sales and other balance sheet management initiatives. So cash allocation priorities are at the forefront. Dividends, share repurchases, growth investments, all with an eye towards what is sustainable and what will generate shareholder returns over the medium and long term. And lastly, sources of capital. The public markets are there. There'll be a lot of talk about that today, but private capital availability continues to increase, whether that is through infrastructure, whether that's through alternative sources, traditional private equity, more and more capital out there available to the sector. So as the first quarter of 2022 comes to a close, here in New York, it feels a bit more like winter than spring. But certainly it's very timely for us to all come together and exchange views on these perspectives. So I want to thank the Citi Corporate Access and Institutional Capital Markets teams for arranging the investor one-on-ones for companies participating. I want to thank Nicolas and your team at Capital Link for allowing us to partner with you for putting together this great agenda. And I want to thank everyone listening. We have a fantastic 2 days. I hope most of you will be participating in all of the panels and everything that Capital Link has set up for us. It's going to be a packed 2 days. So Nicolas, maybe over to you. I think there's perhaps some things on the agenda that would make sense to kick off for the group.
Absolutely. Christa, I would like also to thank you and Citi for the terrific partnership we have developed over the years. I think this conference is a testament to it. We do it together year after year, and it's a who's who of the industry. So thank you very much to you, to the whole Citi team, and of course to the Capital Link team for putting together a terrific event. It is very interesting that the post-COVID economy has presented unique opportunities and challenges. And then we have the Ukraine crisis, which exacerbate the challenges and possibly the opportunities. So our conference comes in that sense with perfect timing. And we are going to discuss all the critical issues for the industry and quite broadly. We have sector panels that cover all the major sectors: dry bulk, product tankers, crude oil tankers, containers, LNG, LPG. Particularly interesting to see what is happening with all the sanctions. We have a panel with representatives from the state, commerce and treasury speaking about sanctions and Russia. We talk about capital markets, about bank finance, corporate strategy. So we cover everything that is important for the industry. And as you mentioned, we have a ton of one-on-one meetings, which makes this conference even more valuable. This conference has been known for its large attendance by investors. And of course, it's a who's who of the industry. So without any more delay, I'd like to thank you again. We hold this in cooperation with the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. And I look forward to a packed 2-day agenda. Everything is going to be available for replay later on, and traditionally we get a lot of access to the sessions even afterwards. We create an online library of content that has longevity and relevance for quite some time. So thank you very, very much.